just to let everyone out there know, we're homeschoolers. That was their choice. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think of it as a strange decision. To me, it just flowed naturally from whatever they wanted, their desires. And it really taught me a lot. Just that the way I arbitrarily thought we just had to go to school. The amount of programming that I inherited from the world around me. That's why I was asking, what did you actually consciously think of in terms of what is success?
Yep.
Were you told that you were an individual? That's why I asked that question, because I feel that sometimes people don't give themselves permission to make choices in life. And I think we inherit so much from what's around us.
There's a certain amount of things in life that you just do because you're told. Actually, I'll take that back. Not because you're told, because it's expected. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, you can't be told something and do everything, but it's expected in society that you go to school. You do your 12 years, you go to uni, you get a job, and then life, get married, have kids, and then that's life. Happy. But going back to the homeschooling thing, now that's something that people have experienced now with our current situation in the world. And I don't see there's not a lot of positive things coming out of that. People, have just been thrown the keys to the kids' education and said, there you go, there's some stuff, look after it. But you've obviously had your kids are getting homeschooled now. And do you have any concerns? I mean, as a parent, you would, but do you have any concerns and quite, socially, like, they're not around kids as much, and that would be my main concern. And I suppose that's something that I want to ask you in that regard. I mean, you probably have other ones as well.
It's really interesting that I'd say 99% of people who we tell that we are homeschoolers, that's their number one concern.
Yep.
99% of people would say, what about their social skills?
So that's only about education.
Isn't that interesting? It's never,
I know.
How good are you at calculus? Can you teach your kids calculus?
Yeah.
For the record, I can.
There's that know-it-all back again.
But look, the social stuff is what everyone's concerned about. I will answer that question, but let me ask you this. Does going to school guarantee that you develop social skills?
No, not at all. I've seen so many people come out of school and have to relearn or have to learn social skills again. So it's funny, because that's the first thing that pops in my head.
That's right. And
like you said, but as soon as you, and it was like a trigger then. As soon as you just said, what about the other stuff? Education. Do you know how to teach your kids? Does your other half know how to teach kids? That's, to me, it's a big job.
I'll answer all these questions, but I do like to bring up the other side of things. I did meet an assistant principal, a friend of one of our friends, and she said, you have to accept that at some stage in your child's life, they will get a terrible teacher. Yes. Okay? So, firstly, there is no guarantee that going through the conventional education system, will you get a good teacher? Will you get an adequate education?
Yeah.
I think, statistics can be pretty dire that, something like 33% of kids can't read properly when they leave school. Now, we can think back to our schooling experience. We went to a public school all the way through, both of us. Now, you weren't all that academic.
No.
Now, you're a smart guy, but you just weren't
I wasn't built for it.
Yeah, that's just not you. Now, to me, that's a bit of a waste of time. What were you doing there? Do you know what I mean? I can go into that more depth in more depth later, or now if you want. But basically, those last years of school, it was a social thing for me. I remember you turning up at recess.
Yeah,
that's what you would do.
Yep.
And leave,
and then leave at the end of recess.
Exactly.
I was too busy making money. I was trying to work.
Yep.
Those last. I had a job I had a job before I should have had a job, so at 14 I was working.
Yeah.
So when I say working, it was a couple of hours at a fast food shop, but I was earning something, right? And then that went into, well, you've got to earn money. That's how, that's what you're supposed to do. So I started earning money. If I wanted to get things, I needed money.
Yep.
So by the time I hit year 10, year 11, I was working 30 hours a week plus school.
I remember you finishing shifts at the restaurant
Yep.
where we both worked, actually.
Yep. Yeah.
And you would finish like midnight or past
Yep.
midnight.
Yeah.
And this is when we were at school.
Yep. And then trudge in at recess and go home after.
So here's a question. I know I haven't answered all your questions
No,
yet,
but we've got plenty of time.
You know, do you think work got in the way of school or school got in the way of work? School isn't for everyone. A building
Correct.
where you go to learn things isn't for everyone.
No.
Now, I've made this joke before that if you went to a gym where they told you what you had to do, the exact exercises you had to do, regardless of your body type, right? If they told you you were a failure because you couldn't do a muscle up,
Yep.
and you're not built to do a muscle up,
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I'd get a home gym.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You'd go and fit your garage out.
Exactly.
And where you can do it in private.
So I think we can agree that there are many ways to be educated.
Totally.
It doesn't have to be in an institutional setting.
Yep.